something that we were pretty excited to cover throughout the whole duration of the series. Hard Knocks is ending. Well, Hard Knocks is done now. So tell me how you felt about Hard Knocks. We watched every episode. We watched it religiously. Talked about it while it was going on. The good moments, the bad moments, the funny stuff, all those type of things. So tell me, how did you feel in the end that it went? And did you get what you wanted to gain out of
it? No, I didn't. I mean, but here's the thing: like we predicted, we never really do out of Hard Knocks. It's never been traditionally that program that's going to give you that super inside scoop that you really hope for as a fan. So I wasn't disappointed, but I just knew I wasn't going to get what I wanted. It was Hard Knocks through and through. It mostly focused on those reserve guys, the training camp battles, the guys that are out there fighting for their lives to make plays. They focused on those guys. So we got to know them pretty in depth. I think Malcolm Rodriguez, knowing if you know your football stuff, you knew he was going to make the team, maybe a handful of others. But yeah, none of that stuff was a surprise. I'm just glad the Lions didn't embarrass themselves and it wasn't a clown show. And I walked away a lot more excited for the season. So color me impressed, but not like blown away.
Mm-hmm. I kind of concur with that statement. Like it wasn't a clown show. We didn't embarrass ourselves. So that's always a plus when it comes to the Lions. Really, Detroit sports in general. But I kind of got a newfound respect for Dan Campbell. Even though you kind of saw like in the beginning of last year, he cared about his players. He cared about the team, cared about the city too. But I just feel like something's different because we haven't had a coach who's this vocal, yet this, like charismatic. Because we already know what the guy who preceded Dan Campbell. We already know how he acted. Jim Caldwell got some decent results, but Jim Caldwell was more of a laid back guy. He kind of waited in the shadows. And then Jim Schwartz, we already know how that went. We're not even going to talk about guys like Rod Marinelli and those guys, but this is like a breath of fresh air for the Lions organization. And then Brad Holmes seems like a real cool dude, a guy who gets the job done because he comes from a winning organization. The organization he just came from won the Super Bowl. So he's got to be somewhat positive when it comes to player evaluation and all those things that you need from a GM. So like I said, this is just a great sign to see because like I said, this has not been a sight to see for the Lions. I don't think ever. We can't really go back to like 1957. So I don't think this is a sight we've ever seen for this organization. So I'm just kind of glad that, the light was shown for, guys like Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes to, show the positivity that they're potentially bringing to this team and this city. That's what I like.
I feel like the old regime, one of the coaches would have fully started making a damn balloon animal, pulled out a whoopee cushion or something crazy and zany. I didn't get that vibe from these guys. I feel like they're surrounded with pros that just want to see grown men come to compete and win and put their heart and soul on the line. I think Brad Holmes we'll see how his talent is going. I honestly, it's a rare thing for me. And even when you're watching the preseason, the one thing I've never, ever seen a Lions team do, and Dan Campbell's kind of made it one of his staples, is they play, for the most part, penalty free. None of that boneheaded nonsense. Like that really started to fade away at the second half last year. You know what I mean? That was able to keep them in a lot of games just playing disciplined football.
Yeah, so, discipline, yeah.
If you could start with that, I'm already impressed. And I think it's just all the way, you know what I'm saying? The train is sending me up the mountain because that seems like the one thing the Lions can never shake. I can think back to like the Aaron Rodgers game when he got the phantom face mask from getting grabbed on the shoulder.
And then that led to the Hail Mary.
Yeah. The Calvin Johnson call, stuff like I guess that was more or less getting shafted. But, the days of Sue kicking guys in the face and just doing nonsense, hopefully they're over. The clown show is hopefully over. So, that Hard Knocks told me at least I feel like I'm in good, comfortable hands as capable football guys are running the show. Will they produce results? We'll see.
That remains to be seen, but yeah. I feel like once you surround these guys with talent, because like I said, it always helps when you want to play for a guy. It's one thing that he's your coach. It's another thing to actually want to go out and compete for that guy. So you surround him with hungry guys like that with talent. That's a pretty good mixture. And I feel like once you do that, this team could go pretty far places. Might take a little bit of time, but We can go places.
Did you get what you were looking for out of Hard Knocks?
To a certain extent, I did, because I kind of just wanted to get like a more in depth, look into what goes on behind the scenes for that organization. Even though, I kind of watched Inside the Den, the previews from last year, even the ones in the off season this year, but to a certain extent, I say I will, because we never saw what really went on and how people thought, because okay, I personally don't care for a guy like Rod Wood. It's just something about him. I don't know, especially since he was like a holdover from the last regime. I just feel like he's like a guy that doesn't need to be here. But as opposed to a guy like John Dorsey, who's like really like rah-rah, but he knows talent though. You know what I'm saying? He can evaluate talent, and that's all I want to see is guys who can evaluate talent and bring talent here. Yeah. And I feel like if you don't fit that mold, we don't need you here.
Well, thankfully, Rod was just like a figurehead almost of sorts with family. I will say his one scene, he came in, and I think in the midst of Dan Campbell going through cuts and agonizing over that process, or was it Brad Holmes? I forget who he interacted with. Either way, he tried some yucks with him, and they just kind of like, yeah, bro, not the time, and just kind of stayed silent on him. You know what I mean? Like,
I think that was Campbell.
Campbell, yeah. It's like, your vibe's off, man. This is not what we're doing. We deciding guys' fate, careers right now. And what was also another wild take I took from Hard Knocks was the fact when they were cutting guys, any Hard Knocks episodes, I've never seen guys be so appreciative of of the organization giving them their shot. Like,
thank you for giving me this opportunity. Yeah, like, come on.
Don't get me wrong, I've never seen anybody spaz out on the coaches either. Most guys are appreciative, but these guys are really, really appreciative. Like, man, like Pimpleton, he kept that positive attitude and got another job with no problem. So, yeah, I don't know. It was just, I felt like it was different to see, because I get the feeling in the past, guys who got cut by the Lions were probably like walking out the door with the double birds. You know what I mean? Or you guys are clowns anyway. Like,
y'all ain't got no direction. Y'all ain't got nothing.
They getting cursed. We don't know. There's like 15 curses on the Lions we don't know about. Russ Thomas is the only one we do know about. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and even the guys who did get cut, guys like Eze and Tom Kennedy, and even Godwin, those guys were brought back. And they were like, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. I see that you got... One thing that stuck out to me was when Eze got cut, he was like, I thank you guys for the opportunity. I see you guys. I see what you guys are trying to do. I see what you guys are trying to build. You guys are two great guys in this, in this business. So it makes sense that you're, putting together this product, and this product could be something really special. That stood out to me, because like I said, I don't think that's ever been said for the Lions ever. That really like stuck out like a sore thumb. So that was really a breath of fresh air to see. It was.
Yeah, we're gonna see, man. I think all the vibes are right. I don't know if we're talking predictions this episode, but I really got the Lions, getting some get back in week 1, and I can totally see it.
Well, let's get into it then. Week 1, who you got?
I'm gonna pick the Lions. I'm gonna pick the Lions, honestly. I'm not gonna pick them to like a runaway victory, but I think they're just gonna be a little more hungry and probably a little more conditioned, and they probably grind out a W.
My mind says go with the Eagles. It really does, especially since I think they're gonna win the NFC East this year. But my heart says, of course, you got to go with the home team. Got to. But logic says, especially after the whipping they gave us last year, logic says go for the Eagles. Because like I said, they've got a dual threat quarterback, and dual threat quarterbacks tend to get the Lions a little bit of trouble. So if Jalen Hurts if his O-line, because his O-line is pretty good, if his O-line can protect him, he's able to get running lanes and then get protection so he can pass to the guys to get open, like AJ Brown. I feel like he kind of can give the Lions some trouble, because he did it last year. I don't want to say that was a fluke. So I got the Eagles on about 4 points.
No, I dig it. There's my only logic for that pick, though, is because it's week 1, only because Ford Field is going to be a madhouse, and only because I feel like the
first time since like 2019, crazy.
Yeah, and I feel like the Lions at a minimum are going to bring it. No, the reports are that Philly's training camp has been more like Camp Krusty. So I don't know if guys are walking around being pampered in Philly. That's just the reports I heard. You know what I mean? Just stuff I've been following and things of that nature, beat writers and things of that nature. So I'm gonna go out on a limb and say if this is the game that you want to set the tone and really make yourself a hero, a champion, and take all that stuff, you translate it. Because I think everyone who watch Hard Knocks is ready to run through a wall for Dan Campbell, right?
Yeah.
So I think week 1, you got to pour it all out. Don't get me wrong; it's not like a trip to the Super Bowls at stake, but you got to bring it. You got to bring it, especially after the way these guys treated you. So if this were week 6, week 7, and people are, they're in their routine and their condition right and all that, yeah, I'm all day. I'm going with Philly to whoop on us, but in this week 1, I think we can steal it. So
I agree. I think we can steal it, but I just can't put my money on the Lions yet because I've done that before, not physically, but I put my money on them, and they've shown time and time again you can't really trust them. But exactly. Like you said, for the conditions of this game, if they did win this game, I would be not the least bit surprised at all because that's just how football works.